Welcome back, everybody, to your creativity. We have a past guest back, and she's brought a friend with her. Her friend is her husband and co-filmmaker. Welcome back to Summer Bellessa, and welcome to her husband, Kerry. How are you?
We're great.
Good.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. The only way I could get on your podcast is if my wife brought me, so I appreciate it.
No,
I'm
we would
known as Summer's husband, so I like it.
No, I would have took you without her. So
I wouldn't have.
But since we do have Summer here, I want to. We last talked when you were here in Utah for Funny Thing About Love.
Yep.
And you were doing a bunch of premieres here and Arizona and whatnot. Give us a little update of how that went and how the movie's being received.
Yeah, I think Funny Thing About Love is such a fun movie, and we knew that there was an audience of people who wanted romantic comedies that are also family friendly, that you can watch with the whole family, and from your 9-10-year-old, even 9-10-year-old boys would enjoy it and love it, all the way up to grandma and grandpa. So I think the audience that we thought would like it loved it, and so that is all we can ask for. And it was super fun to do. I loved doing it and working with such creative, great people. So success all around.
And people dug it out here. It stayed in theaters longer, I think, than
in Arizona.
Yeah, than it was supposed to. So that's
good.
It
stayed in a bunch of theaters in Arizona. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. How did you guys meet?
We met. I had a friend living on a couch.
Real quick, we just had our 19-year wedding anniversary in January. So
yeah, woohoo!
Congratulations!
It's like 100 years in Hollywood. So
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, I had a friend living on my couch.
And I had a friend living on my couch.
And the two couch surfers, they introduced us.
They were kind of dating, right?
Ish, yeah. And actually, our first date, I invited all my roommates and all his roommates, and it ended up just being me, him, one of my roommates, and her now husband, who is our entertainment lawyer. And the four of us went on it ended up being kind of a little double date. And he proposed to me a month and a half after that.
Which I think that was her plan all along. She says invite everyone, but she's very maniacal that way. But it worked out.
Yes, it did work out. Ha 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 ha.
Ha ha ha.
And 19 years later. And this isn't the first film you've worked on together. Amber Alert was a short that you worked on a while ago. Tell us about that, and it's expanding as well, correct?
Yeah, so it's actually, so Kerry originally wrote it as probably a $10 million feature film.
Yeah, me and Josh.
Josh Oram, who's Kerry's writing partner. And, it got optioned by a bunch of companies, a bunch of production companies in Los Angeles, but it just kept, different things happened and just kept not getting made. And so we kind of looked at our bank account and was like, what do we have? Let's just go make this. And so him and Josh were able to really pare it down and made it found footage for the sake of the budget. And they also thought like the found footage aspect could make it even more scary, or scary in a way that we could do with our budget. And so for $5,000, we actually made a feature film. And that feature film was sold for us by WME, William Morris Endeavor, and it went on Netflix, and it was the second most watched film behind House of Cards at the time. So we definitely felt like we won the indie film lottery with that one. Yeah. And then this one, our second one, Imminence, our second feature film that we're doing together. Yeah.
Well, I watched it yesterday afternoon. I really enjoyed it. Where did the idea of it come from?
The idea, well, so Josh and I had this concept it was going to be, so after we made Amber Alert, we wanted to do a Bermuda Triangle film. And it kind of morphed. It didn't start at first into what it became. It was more like college kids on a boat, maybe found footage, maybe not. And then what happened is it got optioned to someone as like a $4 or $5 million film. And, you know, like always options, they don't happen. We got rights back. And then when we were able to raise a little money, we just decided to scale it down. And then we wanted to take a little more serious approach to it. And that's kind of how it evolved.
Yeah, I think if you don't, if you're not already like set up in the Hollywood system and you're trying to do it as an independent, so much of it is working with what budgets we have and being creative to make it work with whatever circumstances that we have at that time.
Yeah, because I sent it to a couple other line producers I know, and they're like, you know, this is like a $5 million film. How are you going to do this? And then, you know, Summer and I are always super resourceful, and so is Josh with in that aspect. So we're just like, okay, what do we have? We're just going to go do it. So, you know, at one point in the script, there was like horses on fire going through the boat, you know, someone walking on water, just like big set pieces. So we kind of kept the bones of it, but just scaled it down. But still, I think we're pretty ambitious with what we were trying to accomplish.
And it's the plots, you know, science versus God, basically. What is your inspiration to bring those elements in?
Well, I believe, you know, both to be very important and real and true. You know,
Yeah.
I don't science, you know, and religion are, and I also think it's everyone knows science. Everyone in the world knows religion. You know, and so it seemed very what's the word, relatable to individuals. And then, you know, when people either, whether you believe or not or whatnot, everyone knows the Bible. They've heard all of these stories, whether they're fantastical or mythical to some people or real to others. It just seemed, seemed like a very interesting, fun concept that we wanted to explore.
Kerry also, he always likes things that he feels like can ignite conversation and get people talking about, you know, there's certain things that we could have done differently, but at the end of the day, he's like, no, I want people to be able to talk about, should I have done that? Should I have not? What would have happened if this happened? And that's something that drives him with creating, is also enabling people to keep that conversation going after the film is over. That's one of his goals.
I like you said that, because I think, yes, I like people to talk. I think I'd rather have you passionately love it or passionately hate it than just be right in the middle. That doesn't really interest me. And just like, okay. I like, you know, that's
love or hate it either. Yeah. Oh, that's not weird. The cast is amazing. At least 3 of the ones that are in there I've known before, and they're very well respected TV actors. What was the casting process like?
That's all Summer. She'll have to tell you how it came about.
So yeah, Michael Beach, who's amazing. He has been in so many iconic roles and is so talented. How we connected with him is a very interesting / funny story. We actually, it all started with an article I wrote called Toddler Stylist, where I let my 4-year-old at the time dress me for a week, and it went viral, and it was on like Good Morning America and you know, Yahoo News, all the places. And Michael Beach's wife saw it and thought it was hilarious and let their 4-year-old, he might have been 3 at the time, dress her for a few days. And so she had posted about it and I saw it and I reposted and it kind of connected us and we became internet friends because of that. Fast forward a few years and both of our boys, so at the time, so we have 3 kids, our 2 boys are the oldest, and they have 2 boys. Well, they have even more kids, but their 2 boys were in ballet class, tap and ballet with our boys. And so Alicia recognized me from that and we connected for the first time in person. And then her husband was there and Kerry recognized Michael right away and was like, wow, he's such an amazing actor. So when this script came back to us and we're like, if we can get, some talented friends together to create this, we feel like this should be our next project. And so Kerry brought up Michael to me. And so he gave me the script to give to her and she gave it to him. And she said too, like, listen, he reads so many scripts. So many people send him scripts to read. So don't get your hopes up because he says no to almost every single one of them. And then he read it and said in the first 10 pages, that's where he makes his decision. If he's either going to keep reading it or he passes. And he's like, I couldn't put it down. I wanted to read it and I wanted to know what happened. And, his background also is not from a religious point of view. So all the points of religion being pulled from the Bible. And he called Kerry and was like, I want to know all about this. It's so interesting. Like, is that really in the Bible? Is this in the Bible? Like, he had so many questions and he was down. And then one of his really, really good friends, which they were in third watch together, it's Anthony. And Anthony's really talented also. And so the 2 of them were going to play, the religion and science battlers. And then actually a day before our shoot, the guy who Eugene Bird's character,
he's going to play
Davis, he got sick. And this is all so pre-COVID. So we're shooting in December of 2019, right before, like 2 months later, LA gets totally shut down. So he got sick, who knows with what. But he's like, the last place I want to be is on a boat for 2 weeks, not feeling well. And so Michael called Eugene, and we had just met Eugene at an event too, where he told us he hated boats because he can't swim and that that Michael's crazy. He could never do that. So Michael called him and was like, get down here. We need you. And he's like, oh, dang. And it's funny too, because he is so talented and he is so great at memorizing lines. I mean, being on Bones, that TV show, he had so many like very intense
long monologues.
Yes, with scientific words. So he read the script one time that night before he got on set, and he knew his whole entire part by heart, which is amazing.
That is amazing. I can't memorize anything. So like hearing actors couldn't memorize complete scripts like that. It boggles my mind.
Yes. And then Kasha, her and I are with the same modeling agency. And we had done a runway show a few weeks before this. And so we had a bunch of girls try out, and she just brought such a funness to her character. And then Aseneth also was friends with Michael Beach. And so she read for it also. And she did really great. And so
awesome. And then Beach also helped us secure McShane, Jamie.
Oh yeah.
Jamie, we kind of don't talk about him because we don't, see him much, but when he comes in, who he is.
We were lucky enough to get him mainly because it was such a short time. We only needed him for 2 days. And I think we shot him out the first day.
Yeah. And he was working in between. He was on Mank doing Fincher's film. So he did us a favor. When he wasn't working, he came to our set. He'd tell us some, funny stories, and he was just awesome and a pleasure also. Like,
yeah. And all of us kind of
cast ever.
We definitely, the cast, I think, bonded a lot because you're on a boat shooting nights for 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. And it was very much like going to like a
camp.
nautical camp or something. I don't know, like felt like you're partying at night, hanging out with everybody, and we got really close. But Jamie just came for one day, and which was so perfect for his character, which I don't want to and give away any spoilers, but he comes in so strong, powerful, scary, and then it was like, I think we gave him like a standing ovation after his
it was like,
first time doing it, because it was just so good.
Yeah. So that's the short answer.
That's a long answer.
Our cast.
That's the short one. Wow. Where did you film? In California or?
Yep, we were down in San Pedro. So down by Long Beach. And that was probably the hardest thing. Like ideally, we would have loved to, budget permitting, we have a boat and then we build some of the boat on in a sound stage so we can move things, but we just didn't have those resources. And looking for a boat was so hard. And Summer was like scouring for boats, days, for weeks, for months, us up in Ventura, down to San Diego.
Like we were talking about, bringing a boat in from different ports, and a lot of logistical challenges with shooting on a boat. Also some actual benefits too. We did not have to have film permits from Los Angeles County, which tend to be complicated, but we didn't have to because we were shooting on the water, which is really, I thought was interesting that that's not part of their jurisdiction.
Nice.
So,
we got one
interesting.
them.
Yeah.
So then Summer found the Odyssey and the rest was history.
Yep.
And I think it being, recorded on closed quarters kind of helped it too, build the intimacy and the tension.
Yeah, I agree. Because you also, at that point, we had to be creative. Like we wanted to obviously not be so static and do, so we had to try our best to, we even tried one time to get a little slider on their dolly and it was just so small, we could barely do that. So we had to do other creative ways, or we had to look for other nooks and crannies within the ship. So it wasn't just the same thing over and over and over. And I feel like we really were able to shoot the heck out of that boat and get as much action out of it as we could.
For sure. Filmmaker wise, who inspires you guys?
Oh, I mean, I like I've always been like a Coen brother fan. They're some of my favorite. I like Denis, the French Canadian filmmaker who did Sicario, Prisoners, Dune. I think he is fabulous. I grew up loving Steven Spielberg as a kid. I like watching creativity of like Wes Anderson film.
That's where we intersect. I feel like I love Spielberg too. I love but I also love Wes Anderson. I like Billy Wilder, like definitely more classic. And
Summer likes a lot of like French filmmakers. I just love filmmakers and have so much respect for them all, because I know how hard it is and how much time and effort it takes to do something, so I'm just a fan of filmmakers and what they do, whether you're a big name, a little name. I'm just, I'm a fan and I love people doing creative things.
That's awesome. Yeah, I agree with a lot of those guys you said, like Wes Anderson, amazing. Billy Wilder, The Apartment is one of my favorite movies. Just love it. Speaking of creativity, what situations are most creative when you're like, starting a project? Is it researching on your own, collaborating with the fellow writer early, or what's kind of your process when you're starting a new project?
Well, we always say like, we want to do things that enjoy us. Like, don't chase the trends. Just
Right.
because I think chasing trends is hard for us to like really get behind. Like, we have to do things that we're passionate about, that we love. And so, we find an idea, whether it's, Josh and I'll pitch it to Summer, or we'll just do it and then she reads it. Summer's kind of our litmus test at times. She's our greatest fan, but also our harshest critic, which is a blessing and a curse. But then at the same time, we also want to make fun films for everyone to see, like not be too niche or too art house or anything like that, So I guess it's like all of the above. And then we always, story is king, if Summer has a better idea, then, we work that in. If Josh or I, it's, we've tried to drop egos and make the best thing for that story we're trying to tell.
Okay. No, when we had her, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, working on Imminence, also Michael Beach came in and had a lot of great insight. And I think Kerry also works really well with wanting the actors to, understand their characters, but also like if there's anything that they have questions about, or he's very open to, again, like if it makes the story better, he wants to use it. So Michael had some great ideas for his character, and I think it made his character stronger.
Yeah, no, he was great. I mean, the guy is such a pro, has worked so much, read so many scripts. He also wanted to be able to put his stamp of approval on it with all his people. So like when he read it, it kind of hooked him, but he's like, hey, you guys, I think there's things to make it better. And then when he saw that we, Josh and I and Summer were very collaborative with him, that I think that like kind of even sealed the deal more. So then he could go to all his friends too and put his name on it, and be like, hey, I'm doing this. This is great. So it was kind of a good working relationship. And you need to be collaborative with other people when you're making films, or you're screwed, in my opinion.
No, I could see if you're, because, the big films, if a handful of people fall apart, it collapses. Let's see, what else did I have? When we had her on before, we talked about your guys' cabin, and we haven't heard your side of it. Tell us what that project's been like working on together.
The
Modern Lodge.
Oh yeah. Summer, I say Summer bought a house, but kind of like Summer has eyes and a vision that I wish that I had, that I don't have at times, and found something that she believed in. And I was like, whoa, really? And she tore it down and built it back up. And now I freaking love this place. It's the little cabin that she worked on and created is like the greatest place ever. So yeah, I don't know if I answered it, but I don't really now try to question Summer, about things. Maybe she doesn't think that's true because she thinks I might question everything, but she has long-term goals and plans. She's just can see the future better than I can.
Well, I feel like house projects are a lot like making a film. So
yeah,
you get like a lot of talented people together, and you need someone with a strong vision who can oversee it, but then like trust the people that you've hired to do certain things. And yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little oasis to get away to whenever you can.
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Very awesome. Well, I think that's pretty much I had overall. I do have a handful of bonus questions. First off, what does creativity mean to you?
I answered it last time, so this is all about you, babe.
Right now.
Share.
Creativity to me is playing, enjoying doing something that you're passionate about, whether it's making movies, writing, making music. I love music is magic to me. And it doesn't matter what you do or create or what people think. It's kind of what inspires you or what makes you happy. I think that's like right now, my boys are playing music and I love just sitting with them, listening to them. It's like makes me so happy. And also just being around creativity. I like watching what Summer does and what she creates. I feel like creativity makes the world go around. And how sad would it be if we had no creative people in this world? There's just a lot of creative who are a billion times better and more creative than I am. So I'm grateful for all those people.
Who is your favorite Muppet and why?
Huh. That's a funny one. There's probably a couple. I can relate to Animal because he's just a wild man, kind of goes by the own beat of his drum. You sometimes
I almost said Animal last time too. I said, really? I'm like, yeah, keep going. Sorry.
You don't know sometimes what he's saying or not, which I feel like sometimes you're like, what are you saying? Are you making sense to me? I love his wild, crazy hair, and he just plays and goes hard, you know. I also really like Fozzie Bear, where Fozzie sometimes he just is resilient in his quest for telling jokes. And whether they're funny or not, he kind of gets behind them. And I have some Fozzie in me too, where I think I'm funny. And I don't know if anyone else does at times, but I'll keep going and telling them. So I
Yeah. I think you're a good mix of Fozzie and Animal.
Yeah.
And definitely I've got some Little Miss Piggy in me. But also I feel like I'm a mix between Animal and her.
I also think you got a lot of Kermit in you. Like Kermit is kind of the ringleader. Kermit also brings everyone together. People look to Kermit to make those final decisions and things like that. I think you definitely have
thanks, babe.
Kermit.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I love Kermit. He's the best.
Everyone respects Kermit. Everyone likes Kermit. Like there's no one that ever says anything bad about Kermit too. So yeah.
I agree. Yeah, Kermit's one of the best. And then in the movie of your life, who would you like to play you?
Oh, let's see.
Kerry gets a lot of people saying he looks like Ryan Reynolds.
I've had a couple Ryan Reynolds and that makes my day. I'm just like, I also love Brandon Flowers. I've had a couple people say sometimes that you look like Brandon Flowers from The Killers. I love him too. I think he's creative and awesome. I could take some Brandon Flowers, maybe crossing him over and making movies and let him be an actor, or Ryan Reynolds.
Blake can play me, so it's like
yeah,
there you go.
I like Gosling too. He's an awesome actor. I wouldn't mind him taking it.
Yeah,
or Jake
he's got
Gyllenhaal.
the hair. I feel like he's got your hair.
Yeah, or we could do a little musical too because he sings. So bring that in. I like Gyllenhaal a lot too. So I think any one of those guys would make me look a lot cooler than I am, and I'll take it.
There you go. So where can people watch Imminence? Is it in theaters at all, or is it strictly digital?
Imminence is streaming right now. Amazon, Apple TV, Vudu, Google Play, all of those places you can stream it.
Very nice. And what's next for you guys?
Well, we're super excited. We have a new project. I think I might have hinted it last time, but yeah, we're in pre-production with for our next film, and it will be our biggest budget we've ever gotten to work with. Lionsgate is distributing it. We're really excited about it. I don't know how much more we can tell yet. We're so close. We're so close being able to tell more.
Hopefully by the end of the week, maybe things could be locked up, but we're close.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll have you back for that.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Well, thank you guys very much for your time. I know you've had a busy day, and you know, the other half of it's on the other side of this. So I'll let you get to it. And
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Thanks.
Good to see you too. We'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.